So guys, we're getting absolutely major, absolutely critical stuff trickling in after the Big Ten's historic decision to go on without ESPN. We've got major stuff. We've got questions. What's ESPN going to do? How bad is the bias really going to get? But first, we've got a few tweets. Worst thing for Pac-12 and Big 12 was for ESPN to opt out of the Big Ten TV. This leaves Pac-12 with very little options besides the ESPN offer. And really, to me, I think this hurts the Big 12 the most. I did not see CBS and the Pac-12 as a fit at all, but there were significant rumors that were pretty steady for about a month regarding CBS wanting to do some sort of midweek deal where they would have like a midweek exclusive primetime game with the Big 12. That is off the table. CBS has been taken by the Big Ten. They will air their 3:30 game, and they're paying $350 million to do it. So I think this hurts the Big 12 more than the Pac-12. The Pac-12 really was only going to have ESPN. That seemed like the only overall offer. I would have been shocked if CBS did some sort of... It just doesn't make any sense. CBS likes showing their games at 3:30. The Pac-12, the one thing it does is it offers that late 10:30 Eastern time window, which is where you can watch live football. That's what's appealing to ESPN. They want that late window. So really, it's looking like the Big 12 is going to be in a marriage with ESPN. That's where we're expecting ESPN to pivot after losing out on the Big 10. Because remember, we expected, I'm sure, the Big 10 or ESPN had money set aside for a Big Ten media deal. That was probably well over $300 million. That money will now probably be spread out to both the Pac-12 and the Big 12, which is kind of a new thing. The Big 12, who has always partnered with Fox mainly, looks like their Tier 1 rights will go to ESPN, or at least a good chunk of their rights will go to ESPN. That being said, the Big 12 is still being told by CBS and NBC they are needing more content and will be bidding with the Big 12 in the future, just not Tier 1. So yeah, CBS, unless they still want to do a week time game, it seems like this is the exact same thing they've been doing, just with the Big Ten. They've got one game right now. They've had one game forever. It's been the exclusive 3:30 window SEC game of the week. Now that shifts to the Big Ten, where they will not, I don't think they'll get Tier 1 rights. Those go to Big Noon Fox, but they will have Tier 2 rights. In probably a few weeks, they will have the Big Ten's biggest game. So unless they're really trying to expand, CBS is doing the same thing they've always been doing. And maybe NBC is the one that really is trying to expand because they are getting more content. They've got Notre Dame football, but now they've got the 7:30 primetime Saturday game, the Big Ten matchup to look at. And then we've got this super in-depth article from SI talking about the pros, the cons, the reactions to this major news. Nobody expected it, guys. I mean, we were all expecting Fox to get well, they already had the rights to the Big Ten. We were expecting ESPN to be right there, and then there were rumors that maybe NBC was... They were like back burner rumors on NBC maybe getting some rights to the Big Ten, but nobody saw this coming to where it's 3 time slots on 3 different networks, with CBS paying $350 million, NBC paying $350 million for rights to 1 game a week. Nobody saw this coming. And you can see weird, unbelievable, and risky are words to describe this situation. The ESPN Big Ten marriage dates back to the 3rd year of ESPN's existence, so they're just going back. ESPN's promotional power within the sport is undeniable. It remains the only 24-hour, 7-day-a-week all sports national network with multiple platforms. The network broadcasts about 90% of bowl games and has exclusive rights to the college football playoff and the college football selection show. So yeah, that is a major issue if you are the Big Ten. ESPN's clout is such that one conference commissioner said, quote, "It's surprising that the Big Ten wouldn't take a few less dollars and stay with ESPN." So there is the dilemma. If you are the Big Ten, ESPN had an offer on the table. You know, it was probably obviously a little bit less than NBC's offer, a little bit less than CBS's offer. But is it worth it to just get rid of ESPN? They still have a major amount of overall just reach in terms of the way casual fans watch football, and the bias is going to get so out of control. It's going to get so bad. Big Ten teams are going to they're already being disrespected. That's with ESPN airing Ohio State games, ESPN airing Michigan games. That all goes away. There is no incentive for ESPN to say a single good thing about Ohio State football in 2023. They're not airing any of their games. They want the SEC teams to all be better. They want the ACC teams to all be better. But let's be real. Specifically, their moneymaker is the SEC, and they've got a crazy huge deal where they've got like all the rights to SEC football. You're going to see every SEC game on ESPN now, with CBS being done with it. So the guys, it's going to be interesting. I love NBC. I do. I love the idea of Ohio State being on NBC. I love the idea of Penn State being on CBS. I love it getting spread out. The concern is ESPN still has a major push. Every one of the narrative is completely driven by ESPN when you look at the average college football fan. Now, the people watching this video probably aren't the average college football fan. We're more into it, so we can see through it. And we look at analytics and things like that and the different rankings, but the average college football fan is going to, probably be captured by whatever the ESPN narrative is. And of course, they have all those talk shows every Tuesday night when the rankings come out, starting in late October, where they will 100% push their narrative on why the SEC or the ACC is better than the Big Ten and things like that. It's a concern because it was already happening with ESPN forking over money to have big time. The Ohio State-Penn State whiteout game always seemed to be on ESPN. Michigan State for a few years was on ESPN. They forked out money, and it was still biased against the Big Ten. Now it's going to get worse, and it is going to be a disaster. We will see what happens. A Group of 5 athletic director calls the Big Ten's decision a bad move and compares it to the Big East basketball losing relevance once it left ESPN. While you can't ignore Ohio State, you don't break up with ESPN over a few million per year. So that's a complete false equivalency. You know, the Big Ten now has superpower programs, Ohio State, Michigan, USC. The Big Ten's always going to be relevant. It doesn't matter what network they're on. The fan bases are simply too big. That is a false equivalency to compare it to Big East basketball. Also, Big East basketball got way worse after it left ESPN. It was just a worse product. So, but I can certainly see that point. ESPN is such a big power, leaving them, it's a shocking move. Ultimately, the money was the sticking point. Sources tell Sports Illustrated the network decided not to bid against CBS for the afternoon slot and declined to meet the Big Ten's package for the primetime TV window. The primetime package, 7 years at $380 million per year, included roughly half of the inventory, 13 to 14 Big Ten games that the network currently owns. The network did not feel it was valuable enough for such a steep price, especially given their new SEC deal. An ESPN-less Big Ten will not see the kind of promotion on the sports flagship network it has had in the past. Most agree. Well, it's already gotten a bad rap anyways. You can imagine it's only going to get worse. And take a look at this. Athletic administrator, you gotta figure game day isn't gonna show up to the Big Ten games very often. Yeah, they're not going to a single one, I would bet. And there goes Ohio State's streak. I think Ohio State has the most appearances on College game day, and like they've hosted the most or something like that. And I mean, Alabama and whatever, all the other schools are gonna pass them because they will not show up at a single game. So guys, this is major news. And we've also got this interesting quote on a potential 22-league, 24-team per league. Quote, it might happen down the road, but I bet it'd be closer to 2 24-team leagues. For both networks, it's important that the ACC, Pac-12, and Big 12 remain strong. So that is an interesting quote talking about possibly getting bigger leagues. The TV networks do want the Pac-12, and it does make sense if ESPN is interested in the Pac-12, them remaining strong. All of this stuff seems to get driven by the media networks overall, so maybe that is hope at the end of the tunnel for the Pac-12. If you've got ESPN on your side hoping you stay together, that might end up helping it. But guys, this is just the overall aftermath of the Big Ten leaving ESPN, which is a shocking move. Nobody expected it, and we are sure to see some major off-the-rails media bias here against the Big Ten by ESPN. I mean, I don't know. I wonder what their contract with the I don't know if another network can have an SEC game. I wonder if ESPN has all the rights to the SEC at this point. They've got the SEC network. I'm just trying to think, with CBS off the table now, they might have Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 rights. So it is, you watch ESPN in 2023, it is going to be an SEC cesspool. Okay, folks, an SEC cesspool. And the problem with partnering with CBS, CBS doesn't have a football show every day. You know, NBC doesn't have a football show every day. Fox is not on the level of ESPN. They've got FS1 and stuff like that, but it's not the live highlights every hour. So it is a different thing. We will see if it works out. It's, you know, I don't know if anyone can project and say it's going to work out or it's not going to work out. I'm sure the Big Ten will be fine, but in general, this could get really negative really quick depending on what happens. Of course, you know, if you're undeniable and you're always great, you're Ohio State, you're Michigan, you're going to get talked about no matter what. But there have been instances in the past where we have seen ridiculous bias, and now you're going to up it a notch even more with ESPN having no skin in the game when it comes to Big Ten football. So it will be interesting, guys, but make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.